Hey, what's up there, guys? So I'm going to show you today how to do replacement sticks for Nintendo GameCube controllers. A lot of the time that you come across GameCube controllers, they have really blown out sticks for the regular joystick and the control stick. This one doesn't look too bad, although it is extremely filthy. But what you're going to need is the replacement sticks, which are fairly cheap online. You can order them with Hyperkin. You can get them off eBay. I'm pretty sure you can get them on Amazon as well. They're pretty much like cents, so you wouldn't be paying too much. Also, you're going to need a tri-wing screwdriver. This is what they look like. You can get these off of eBay, Amazon as well. Certain electronics stores sell them. However, I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use my Fix-It screwdriver. If you have the money to get one of these, I highly recommend them. They are very choice. They have a magnet. So it uses the magnet to hold on to the screws and whatnot. It also has a spinning end, so that makes it really helpful for unscrewing. So let's go ahead and get started. There are 6 different tri-wing screws in the Nintendo GameCube controller, so you're going to want to take out each and every one of those screws. Also, if you are experiencing like drifting issues, I can go over that as well, except I will not, however, actually do it in this video. I can just tell you how to do it, but I'm just going to do the stick replacement for the most part. But if you are experiencing drift issues, I can show that to you as well. I got some fuzz in there. There we go. And yes, if you find used GameCube controllers, typically from most places you get them, they'll be extremely filthy and covered in what we refer to as hand cheese. You can see it here. It's in the cracks and whatnot. It's just exactly as disgusting as it sounds. It's like human skin cells and you know, like Cheeto dust and all that good stuff, which is why I always wear gloves when I'm doing things, just because they're extremely grimy. Now, as you can see, buttons are kind of falling out, so you want to grab this buddy up and this pad stuck there. Go ahead and put the pad back in there. And the Z button can go back in there too. Disassembling them, sometimes the stuff falls out, so you might want to be careful when doing that, and along with reassembly as well. Now, if you're experiencing button issues, I went over this in other video, but you can just clean the contacts on the rubber contacts here, and then clean the contacts on the board as well, right here, here, and all these here. That typically will take care of that. But just go ahead and remove these. You can also, if you're having drifting issues or whatnot, This controller is good, it just needed new sticks. But you can get the controller modules, the analog modules, look specifically for GameCube. What you want to do with at least the with this one here, you'll need to disassemble this. It comes off pretty easy, but you want to be careful. But there are solder points that you'll need to desolder, and as long as you have a soldering iron, you can do it. You'll also need a desoldering pump. You can use the hand pump if you need. It's pretty cheap. But yeah, let's go ahead and replace these sticks. So they are fitted specifically, so you want to make sure these notches are up at the top of the analog module there. So go ahead and pop that in. And same for this one. Little notches there. There's little notches on the analog module as well. Alright, so that's good. That's taken care of right now. So we can set that to the side. And then you're going to want to take this and, at least with the the regular joystick, you're going to want to take some of your isopropyl rubbing alcohol, 70%, get it on a Q-tip, and clean out the inside here. Just make sure it's nice and clean, because with the aftermarket sticks, if you don't use lube and you don't screw it back together good enough, it's gonna have some stickiness issues. It'll be like kind of sticky to move, and it's a little annoying. But it starts to get used to the rubber and the plastic together after a while. But when you're first starting off, it's gonna be like kind of sticky, and you're like, oh, what the heck, you know? So doing this will speed that process up and help it along. So use the silicone lubricant, and you're gonna want to lube it up pretty good so it's nice and sleek on the inside here. Now, it's not absolutely necessary for the C-stick area over here, but you can do it if you'd like. It's more importantly for the joystick itself, and the area of the joystick to be lubed up. So get a little bit more lube, and you don't want to use too much on the stick itself either. Just kind of gently do it around the edges here, just to keep it nice and slick. Yeah, so it's not like completely covered in lube, it's just enough to where it's gonna help it. So yeah, you go ahead and reassemble your controller here. There go the buttons flying out again. So yeah, this the rumble module here, that can kind of pop out, so make sure it's set in right like that. The cord goes in right there. Also, while you're reassembling, this can tend to be a common issue. is with the L and R buttons, so I'll show you that in just a second here. So with the L and R buttons, before you fit it back together, you're going to want to make sure these little switches are pushed upward, because if they don't, and then you run into trouble, say this switch is down, and then you assemble it, the right shoulder button is not going to work. So you want to make sure these are up most of the way. You can, however, move them just a smidge downward if you'd like. It can kind of help it a little bit when you're putting it back together. These don't want to, there we go, just a smidge downward. And then go ahead and just pop it back on. Now, before you put any of the screws back in, make sure you know that they click all the way down. That way you don't run into any trouble on the other end of putting this back together. So, with putting it back together, these top screws, you don't want to do them too tight. The one next to the right shoulder button, which is the one on our left here, that one isn't as important, but the one near the actual joystick itself, you don't want to do it too tight, otherwise you're going to run into that stickiness issue that I was talking about. So give it just enough torque to where it's going to be okay. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm just gonna make sure here, yeah, it's pretty good. Not really any stickiness, so it's good. Smash Bros, Smash Attacks, so these are pretty good. I like the feel of them. They're pretty similar to the original. They're a different type of rubber though. It's not as thick, but it feels nice and grippy, springy. They work really, really well. I use these for most of the GameCube controllers that I put together. Of course, clean it up and whatnot to your heart's content, and then you know, of course, reassemble all the rest of the screws too. These ones can go in like as tight as you'd like for the most part, just not like extremely tight. Just make sure, you know, once it pretty much stops, that you stop screwing it. And this can also be a thing sometimes when you screw it back together. The GameCube controllers, there we go. They have the little fitting in there, so once you hear that click, you know you're good to put it back together. You want to make sure those click in together when you reassemble it. I'm missing a screw, but yeah, so that is the repair for the GameCube controller for the joysticks. I showed you guys how to do the other things. Most of the time, if you find one that has a drifting issue, you may just be better off buying another controller rather than fixing it. If you have the tools to do it, by all means do it, but if you don't, just buy another controller. You're better off that way. But I hope this was helpful for you guys. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.